Hi, I'm Ann, a presenter with the Louisville Children's Museum. Welcome to the Louisville Children's Museum at Home. Our mission is to spark the curiosity of children of all ages by creating unique learning experiences which promote and nurture family interaction. Today we're going to talk about famous Kentuckians, and we're going to start with the two famous Kentucky women who wrote one of the most famous songs in the world, Happy Birthday. The Happy Birthday song was written by Kentucky sisters Mildred and Patty Hill. They grew up in Anchorage, Kentucky, and also spent some time at the little loom house in the Kenwood Hill neighborhood near Iroquois Park. Mildred was a musician and composer who wrote the melody for a song called Good Morning to You. Mildred and Patty were kindergarten teachers, and they sang the Good Morning to You song in the morning for their kindergarten class during circle time. It sounds like this. Good morning to you, good morning to you, good morning dear children, good morning to you. In 1893, Patty Hill changed the words of the Good Morning to You song to help celebrate the birthdays of the kids in their kindergarten class, and thus the Happy Birthday song was born. So here's my daughter Grace, dressed as one of the Hill sisters, complete with a birthday cupcake, to help us sing Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Mildred, happy birthday to you. All right, Grace, if you'll go stand over there.
Is that the best way we can do?
Mildred and Patty Hill created a lot of fun songs for their classroom, and you can too. It's easy to change the words to a tune you know and have a whole new song that's specific for you. So one I made up to the Happy Birthday song for this video is about the Hill sisters. Mildred had a good song, Patty had some fun words, working together as teammates, writing songs for kids. What kind of songs will you make up? You could use the tune of Happy Birthday or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Maybe surprise your mom or dad or brother or sister with a fun song about them. Kentucky is famous for its rolling hills and horses, and more specifically, horse racing. Kentucky hosts the most famous horse race in the country, the Kentucky Derby. It's also known as the fastest 2 minutes in racing. The first jockey to win the Kentucky Derby was Oliver Lewis in 1875. The youngest person ever to win the Kentucky Derby was Alonzo Clayton. Can you take a look at his picture and guess how old he is? He's only 15. Jockeys are the people that ride the horses in the Kentucky Derby, and the shirt they wear is called a silk. Grace, why don't you come over here and show them your silk that you're wearing? They're very colorful, and they're designed by the owners of the horses to be worn during the horse race. If you were running a horse in the Kentucky Derby, how would you design your silk? What shapes would you use? What colors would you like to use? The next famous Kentuckian we're going to talk about is none other than President Abraham Lincoln. This statue of Lincoln was created by nationally renowned Louisville artist Ed Hamilton, who also sculpted the Spirit of Freedom, a memorial in Washington, D.C., honoring African American troops of the Civil War. Lincoln was born February 12, 1809, near Hodgenville, Kentucky. He was a self-taught lawyer who practiced law in Illinois. He was married to Mary Todd from Lexington, and together they had 4 sons. He was known for wearing a stovepipe hat, which is, you can see depicted here in the statue. And you can make your own stovepipe hat at home with some cardboard or construction paper. He was the 16th president of the United States and led our country during the Civil War. Fun fact, more than 16,000 books have been written about Abraham Lincoln. If each book was equal to 1 hour, it would be the same as 667 days of books about Abraham Lincoln. That's almost 2 years. His famous speech at Gettysburg begins with the infamous words, 407 years ago. I want to talk to you about what the 4 means in 407 years ago. When Lincoln talks about 407 years ago, he means 87 years ago, because a score is a different way of saying 20. So 4 is 4 times 20, which equals 80, plus 7 years equals 87 years. Another example would be looking at how long the city of Louisville has been around. The city of Louisville was founded in 1778, which is 242 years ago. Using the score system, Louisville is 12 years old. Can you use the score system to tell your mom or dad how old they are, or your mom or your grandpa or your grandma? Lincoln is well known for being a well-spoken individual. Some of his more famous quotes include, "Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any one other thing. If we never try, we shall never succeed. By all means, don't say, if I can, say I will. And let us confidently hope that all will be well." Lastly, Lincoln is on the penny and the $5 bill. If you were to invent a currency or change the currency we currently use, what would you put on it? Your face? Some other design? What do you think should be on money? Another famous person from Kentucky is Muhammad Ali. He was born on January 17, 1942, as Cassius Clay. He was a world-famous heavyweight boxer and a champion for human rights. He won 56 boxing matches with only 5 losses, and he had a total of 37 knockouts. He won an Olympic gold medal in 1960 and his first heavyweight boxing championship in 1964. In downtown Louisville, there is a 12-foot stainless steel sculpture of 2 boxing gloves overlapping to form a heart, and that was created by Louisville artists Ed Hamilton and the late Zephyr May Miller. A few of the things that Muhammad Ali is famous for saying include, "The service you do for others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth," and "It's not bragging if you can back it up," and "We become heroes when we stand up for what we believe in." But what he's most well known for is using poems in the boxing ring to unnerve his opponents. His most famous one being, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee." Now you could change that up and make it personal to you, like "Float like a boat, sting like a bad grade in an easy class," "Flex like a willow, stay strong like an oak," "Sneaky as a spider, wily as a squirrel," or my personal favorite, "Annoying as your kid brother, messier than your closet." How would you change up Ali's famous saying of "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee," and make it personal to you? Last but not least, as you're thinking about making your own motto, I want to leave you with these words that Ali said that is good advice for all of us, and that is, don't count the days, make the days count. The next famous person I'm going to talk about was not from Kentucky, but he played a very important role in the United States, and that was King Louis XVI. And when George Rogers Clark founded the city of Louisville in 1778, he named it in honor of King Louis XVI as a thank you for the help that the king provided to the Americans during the Revolutionary War. King Louis XVI was the last king of France and ruled in the late 1700s. The fleur-de-lis that you see around Louisville was actually the family symbol for King Louis's family. Purple, like the robe I'm wearing, was considered a royal color because it was so expensive, only rulers could afford to buy garments dyed this color. The first color purple came from a small mollusk only found in the Tyre region of the Mediterranean Sea. When they were first making dye this way, it would take 9,000 mollusks to make 1 gram of purple dye. Now, when you hear about King Louis XVI, it's different when you look at how it's written down. We don't write it King Louis XVI with a 1 and a 6 like this. we write it in Roman numerals like this, an X, a V, and an I. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how Roman numerals work. Roman numerals are letters that are used as numbers. Here I've shown you that an I equals 1, a V equals 5, X equals 10, L equals 50, C equals 100, and M equals 1000. When you want to express numbers other than these in Roman numerals, when you put the big number first, followed by smaller numbers, you're talking about addition. So here we have VII, which equals 5 plus 1 plus 1, which equals 7. When you have the smaller number first, you're subtracting it from the larger number that follows it. So here we have 10 subtracting 1, which gets us to 9. The year we're in is 2020, and it is written MMXX, so 2 times 1,000 plus 10 plus 10, 2020. Louisville was founded in 1778, which translates to MDCCLXXVIII. So the first M is 1,000, the DCC is 700, the LXX is 70, and the VIII is 8. Interestingly, the number 4,999 translates to IVCMXCCIX, and when you do 4,000 or higher, you put a line over the 4 instead of doing multiple M's in a row like we did up here for 2020. What would your birthday be if you wrote it in Roman numerals? With the famous Kentuckians we've been talking about a lot of poems and eloquent words and a lot of numbers. So I thought I'd add in a poem about numbers called Numbers by Mary Cornish. I like the generosity of numbers, the way, for example, they are willing to count anything or anyone. 2 pickles, 1 door to the room, 8 dancers dressed as swans. I like the domesticity of addition. Add 2 cups of milk and stir. The sense of plenty, 6 plums on the ground, 3 more falling from the tree. And multiplication's school of fish times fish, whose silver bodies breed beneath the shadow of a boat. Even subtraction is never loss, just addition somewhere else. 5 sparrows take away 2, the 2 in someone else's garden now. There's an amplitude to long division as it opens Chinese takeout box by paper box. Inside every folded cookie, a new fortune. And I never fail to be surprised by the gift of an odd remainder. Footloose at the end. 47 divided by 11 equals 4, with 3 remaining. 3 boys beyond their mother's call, 2 Italians off to the sea, 1 sock that isn't anywhere you look. Be sure to follow the Louisville Children's Museum on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget, you can donate on our website anytime to help support the Louisville Children's Museum.